a reading from my new book, Build Success, which is all about effective leadership of the built environment. This section is about overcoming your toughest opponents. And the reason I believe so strongly in this is that opponents will be inevitable on every single project, but better than this, you can actually use them to sharpen your decision making. So here we go. Opponents both within and outside of your project are inevitable and one of the toughest challenges you may face. But opposition has the potential to bring with it the biggest rewards. Will they believe you? Are they even interested? If you can determine what your stakeholders are thinking or concerned about, you can meet them where they're at. Anticipate their probing questions or awaken their interest, whichever is the most effective means to engage with them and keep the conversations going. Stakeholders and team members aligned around a vision are essential for success. Bringing them with you can be the single best investment of your time on your project. I understand that reaching out to potential opponents is not energizing or enjoyable, especially in the beginning when you're framing the project, establishing the initial vision, and road testing strategies. But believe me, whatever energy you can muster to help will pay dividends. Your stakeholders will most likely change or evolve over the course of the project lifecycle, but they do exist and they want to be heard. The strength of conviction that you have and your team hold for the project vision will be felt in every conversation that transpires with your stakeholders. The clearer you are, the easier the engagement will be. Be prepared to play the long game. Listen intently and take on their language where it can best align with yours, even when you need to reframe the arguments and play a more favorable scenario back to them. Ensure that it's genuine and let them see that you care. If someone is grandstanding and you want to understand what is behind all the hot air, it's worth removing the platform that they seem to be exercised by. Instead, invite a one-to-one conversation to peel back their facade and get under the skin of what they're worried about. You might be positively surprised by what you discover. Admittedly, it's a fine line between convincing the inconvincible and cutting your losses. But know this, in the process of engaging with them, you'll be strengthening your messaging, arguments, and general resilience. Opponents sharpen your decision-making capabilities, both through motivation to prove them wrong, that's a good one, and recognition of where the fault lines might be, equally strong. I have mixed feelings about how much responsibility a leader should take on their own shoulders and what proportion of this should be shared, especially when dealing with tough opponents. Whilst it's admirable to take burden away from your fellow team members, it can result in poor collaboration, flawed decision-making, and an enhanced lack of accountability. First, check if a particular responsibility is better placed with someone else. Having the confidence to share responsibilities and to not take on everyone's struggles allows you to build a higher energy and focus for a broader perspective. This will serve the interests of your team and stakeholders better than relieving them of too many responsibilities. However, accepting blame for a culmination of errors or for allowing teams to drift off course sits squarely with the project leadership, and this can't be dodged. I have personally witnessed leadership faltering due to extreme individual burdens, self-imposed or otherwise. Striking the right balance is essential. Perhaps the best method for doing so is putting yourself in a few worst-case scenario debriefings, where you need to answer the root cause of a problem and respond with sensible solutions. If you struggle to resolve it, and it's not just because you're completely exhausted, then you either put systems in place to be better informed on the subject, or you delegate it. I'd love to hear your experiences with some of your toughest opponents and how they've helped you to sharpen your decision making and create opportunities in the project that probably otherwise wouldn't have been. I'd love your feedback. Please share them with me.